Okay, the purpose of this video is to review solving equations. When solving equations, your goal is to isolate the variable. By isolate, we mean to get the variable by itself. The first step that we're going to use is we're going to use the distributive property to remove parentheses, if necessary. After removing the parentheses, we will then combine like terms that are on the same side of the equation. Your third step will be to use inverse operations to get the like terms together. By inverse operations, addition and subtraction are inverse, multiplication and division are inverse. Your fourth step is to actually solve the equation, and we're going to solve that equation by using either multiplication or division to isolate the variable. So we're going to start with one example. Okay, in this first example, we're going to have 16m equals 45 plus 11m. We're going to take this example and we're going to go through the steps that we have listed above. The first step says use your distributive property to remove parentheses. Well, when you look at this equation, there are no parentheses, so there's no need to use distributive property. So we move down to the second step. The second step says to combine like terms that are on the same side. Okay, well, on this side of the equal sign, we have only a 16m. On this side of the equal sign, we have 45 plus 11m. There are no like terms on the same side. So now we're going to proceed to step 3. Step 3 says to use inverse operations to get your like terms together. So we're going to identify our like terms. We have a 16m and 11m. Our goal is to have these two terms on the same side isolated from the constant term. So here we're going to subtract 11m because addition and subtraction are inverse operations. These 11m's cancel. 16m minus 11m gives us 5m equals 45. Okay, the fourth step says to either multiply or divide to isolate the variable. Here's your variable. This m is being multiplied by 5, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 5, and we have a solution. M equals 9. Okay, example 2 is 5r minus 9 equals 2r plus 13. Okay, first step, use distributive property. There are no parentheses, so no need to distribute. Second step, combine like terms that are on the same side of the equation. Okay, here I got a 5r minus 9. Here I have a 2r plus 13. No like terms on the same side. So our next step is to start to use inverse operations to get our like terms together. So we can subtract 2r from both sides. And that gives me 3r minus 9 equals 13. Then we can add 9. 13 plus 9 is 22. So that gives me 3r equals 22. And we're going to divide both sides by 3. So divide by 3 and divide by 3. And that's going to give me r equals 22 over 3. All right, now 3 cannot go into 22 an even number of times. Therefore, we just leave our answer as an improper fraction. We don't go through changing it to a mixed number. Okay. All right, let's look at number 3 here. Okay, we got 3 times x plus 7 equals 2x. Okay, my first step is to use distributive property to remove the parentheses. So it's going to be 3x plus 21 equals 2x. Distributive property means to take the number outside of the parentheses and multiply it by each term inside of the parentheses. Okay, your next step says to combine like terms that are on the same side. There are no like terms on the same side, so we move on to the next step, which is to use inverse operations to get our like terms together. So here, 3x and 2x are like terms. So we need to get these two terms together. If I subtract 2x from both sides, then I'm putting everything on one side of the equation. So since the 2x is already over here by itself, then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. This cancels. It gives you 21 equals negative 1x. Then we're going to use division and divide both sides by negative 1. And you get negative 21 equals x. Or if you're more comfortable, you can write it x equals negative 21. Okay, for example 4. Okay, we're going to have 4 times a plus 2 equals 14 minus 2 times 3 minus 2a. Okay, first step is to use distributive property to remove parentheses. So that's going to be 4a plus 8 equals 14. Here you're going to distribute a negative 2 because this 2 has a subtraction sign in front of it. So it's negative 6 plus 4a. Okay, this is plus 4a because a negative 2 times a negative 2a gives you a positive 4a. Okay, here, combine your like terms that are on the same side. All right. 14 minus 6 is 8. You get 8 plus 4a. Then we're going to subtract 4a from both sides. And then we have 0 plus 8 equals 8. If we simplify this, you get 8 equals 8. Now this is a special case because we don't have any variables left, but this is a true statement. And that means that you have all real numbers for your solution. So a problem like that, your solution is all real numbers. If it's a false statement, then our solution would be no solution. Okay, we're going to try one more. Right here for number 5, we're going to do 3 over 2x minus 2 times 1/3 x plus 5 equals 12 minus 4x. Okay, so here we're going to remove our parentheses. We're going to have 3 over 2x. A negative 2 times 1/3 is negative 2 over 3x. A negative 2 times 5, negative 10 equals 12 minus 4x. Okay, now we want to combine like terms that are on the same side. These are your like terms. Now if you purchased a calculator, which I strongly recommend, you can just type these fractions in the calculator. If you don't have a calculator, then you know in order to add fractions, we got to have a common denominator. So you multiply by 2, that's 4 times 3 times 3, and that's 9. So we have 9 over 6x minus 4 over 6, which is going to give me 5 over 6x. Subtract 10 equals 12 minus 4x. Okay, I'm going to add 10 to both sides, and that gives me 5 over 6x equals 22 minus 4x. Okay, like terms together, add 4x to both sides. Once again, if you have a calculator, then you would just use your fraction key, which is the n over d, and you would just type in 5 over 6 plus 4, and it would give you an answer. But here we have to have a common denominator, which is 6. So that becomes 24 over 6. 5 plus 24, that's going to be 29 over 6x. Okay, 29 over 6x equals 22. All right, now this is multiplication. This says 29 over 6 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides, and it's going to give me x equals 22 divided by 29 over 6. Using a calculator, you can just type in that calculator, 22 divided by 29 over 6. It gives you your answer. Otherwise, it's 22 times 6 over 29. When you're dividing fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. And 22 times 6 is 132. So your answer here is 132 over 29. And 29 cannot go into 132 an even number of times. So we just leave our answer as 132 over 29. I hope this video was beneficial for you. Good luck on completing your summer work.